Hey guys! What's up? AlphalionSimba here, and welcome to another review. Now you guys all know I'm a big fan of animal fantasy, especially in literature and film, and tonight I'm going to do a two-part review on one of my favorite animal fantasy stories, Watership Down, starting with the 1970s movie directed by Martin Rosen, and starring John Hurt, Zero Mostel, Richard Briers, and Harry Andrews. First thing I'm going to talk about is the animation. Simply put, it is phenomenal. This is one of the best looking hand-drawn animated films I have ever seen. The backgrounds are all painted gorgeously to emulate the spirit of nature. It's almost like looking at a painting. It's really that good. As for the character designs, as with many other animal fantasy movies I've seen, such as The Lion King, this is about 80% realism, where they paid close attention to the anatomy to match their movements, and the only thing anthropomorphized is their faces so that they can express human emotions. And a few times, the movie likes to get creative with its visuals. Like, for example, the story in the prologue of the story of El Herrera. It takes a unique, abstract-ish approach to the animation, and it's very fascinating to look at. And of course, there's my favorite part of the movie, Bright Eyes. The visuals in that movie are fantastic as the spirit of the Black Rabbit of Inlay leads Fiver to Hazel, and the visuals really highlight the close relationship that Hazel and Fiver have as brothers. And of course, the song in the scene, Bright Eyes by Art Garfunkel, great song to listen to. Now it's time for me to talk about the characters. There are fewer characters here than there were in the book, which is probably for the best so as not to make things overly complicated. Let's start with our three main characters, Hazel, Fiver, and Bigwig. Hazel was a very likable protagonist. He's supposed to be the brains of the group, and he accomplishes that role successfully, given all the great ideas that he comes up with to get the rabbits out of danger. And he shows great leadership skills, and we have a great performance given by the late John Hurt. And I really liked Hazel's relationship with Fiver, who was also very likable, given that he was the instinct of the group. But then there's my personal favorite character, Bigwig. Bigwig is my favorite character because he's not just your average tough guy. Because while he is the muscle of the group, you always get the feeling that his heart is in the right place. Or he can be a bit pompous at times, but in the end, he's willing to admit when he's wrong, and he's willing to go that extra mile, especially when protecting the escaped Ephrathins and the Watership Down rabbits from Woundwort and his army. Speaking of which, there's the villain of the movie, General Woundwort. Woundwort is a great villain. He's calculated, he's intimidating, and he's willing to go to endless lengths of violence to get what he wants. And his voice actor, Harry Andrews, gives a very chilling performance. The movie isn't strictly business when it comes to the characters, because we do get a comic relief character in the form of Kihar, the seagull, and admittedly he does manage to squeeze a few laughs out of me, mainly because of his zany accent. If I do have a complaint when it comes to the characters, it's that some of the other characters like Blackberry, Dandelion, and especially Silver are not very interesting. I mean, Captain Holly was certainly interesting because of how it shows that he nearly paid the price for not listening to Fiver, but the others feel like they're just there because they're there. Normally, I'd say you could just write them out of the script and nothing would be changed, but at the same time, I think it's kind of a necessity to have seemingly pointless characters in a movie like Watership Down, considering the likelihood of somebody dying in this movie, which is very high. Now it's time for me to talk about the script. First thing is the obvious thing for me to knock out, and that is the violence, because the violence in this movie is the one thing that most people think of when they think of Watership Down. In fact, some say this is too violent for a kids' movie. Is it as violent as people make it out to be? Yes. A lot of parts get very brutal, especially the climax, and there's stuff in it that can be considered nightmare fuel, such as the scene where Captain Holly tells the group about what happened to Sandalford Warren. In fact, despite this movie's Disney-esque appearance, it is not for kids. Does that make the movie bad? Absolutely not. In fact, dare I say it, it's actually what makes it a good movie. It's supposed to highlight how dangerous life as a rabbit really is, because let's face it, the journey to Watership Down was no walk in the park. Because at every other turn, the rabbits encounter a new danger, be it a predator, traps, you name it, and of course at the end, the Ephrathins. But it's all because they're just trying to survive, because that's how life in the animal kingdom is. It's all about survival. But enough about the violence. How is it as a film adaptation of a book? For the most part, it's a very faithful adaptation and keeps true to the spirit of the book. And so, overall, I give the movie of Watership Down a 9.5 out of 10 and a gold medal. Would I recommend this as a family movie? No. But if you're an older kid or an adult who can stomach the violence, or if you're a fan of animal fantasy, then I think this might be one for you. Well, that was it. My review of the movie Watership Down. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave requests in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And stay tuned for my review on the Netflix adaptation. AlphalionSimba, out.